All right, yo, what is up, everybody? Garrett Fankhauser here. Welcome to the Ultimate Dropshipping FFL Guide, right? We've done some content around this in the past, and you guys want more. So in this video, it's not necessarily just the Ultimate Dropshipping FFL Guide. We're going to walk through how the top FFL dealers are actually using dropshipping to make a lot of cash, right? That's what we're all after for. Many of you guys, when I speak to you, you want a system in place that's going to allow you to generate additional cash flow without having to put in a ton of, shipping all of these products personally and things like that. But what I hear is that there's a huge concern around margins and competing with other people and things like that. And so what we're going to be working on in this video is walking through all of that stuff. And hopefully we can map out a plan for you to put something like this in place that will help you generate additional cash flow, be able to hire more team, expand your business, spend more time with the family, whatever it is that you're looking to achieve out of this, without having to go through all of the BS downsides that dropshipping can have if the systems are not set up properly. Cool. So the big thing here is that if you're tired of wasting money, like having tons of inventory sitting on your shelves at your store, and sometimes that stuff just sits and sits, this is a really good way to add inventory to what you have available to sell without having to have it sit there on your shelf, right? So why is dropshipping a total game changer? There's a couple key advantages, right? We talked about the not having the inventory sitting collecting dust. There's a lot of flexibility and scalability, right? This allows you to ship things that you don't have to physically have in stock. And how that's valuable is that, like, you don't have to have somebody physically packing these boxes. It doesn't always have, I say always because sometimes it does, but it doesn't always have to ship to you first. Things can ship directly to your customers, their houses, to their local FFL, or to you if there's somebody local, right? And so why it works, the big thing here is that everybody can sell everything, right? That's kind of one of the key areas with this, is that everybody can sell everything, but that can be a huge disadvantage if you are trying to do that. And so we're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about like actively managing the dropshipping systems, some of the competition, the complexities, and things like that. We're going to dig into all of that, but we're also going to be talking about value ladders here and building lifetime value with your customers. So that's going to be a huge thing here, and we'll do some drawing here in the background to kind of map this stuff out. Cool. So some of this stuff, let's start breaking this down. When we talk about drop shipping, one of the things that I hear occasionally is people, dealers come in and they're like, cool, I just want something that just works all by itself and I just don't have to do anything. Completely passive income. That's not it, right? It's not it. It's a more passive system than sitting in your brick and mortar store all day. But there's definitely stuff that needs to be done. Like, you have to market, you have to have systems in place to generate new customers on a regular basis. You have to be responding to these customers on a regular basis. There's some marketing stuff that we'll cover here in a little bit. Adjusting pricing just depending on like what's going on, offering discounts and coupons and things like that. Running different types of sales promotions. There's a lot of different stuff that needs to take place. This is not just like set it to map and forget it. Like, if you do that, you will not make money. People will just shop somewhere else. So don't expect it to be a 100% passive system. Nothing is like that. There's no free money in this world, right? Just don't expect that. Competition. So let's talk about competition. There's always going to be competition, right? You guys already have competition, regardless of whether you're selling online, regardless of whether you're selling in person. Now, some of you might have an advantage over your competition locally because maybe you're the only gun shop in town, maybe you're the biggest gun shop in town or whatever. There's ways of standing out online that can really set you apart as well. And so that's something that's super important to work into your whole marketing plan, that type of stuff, your strategy, so that you can set yourself apart from everybody else out there. Now, something else that I do want to bring up, because there is a complexity based around double shipping. There are certain manufacturers out there that do not drop ship, or some of them, like SIG, you actually have to fill out a form and they'll approve you. But some of these other manufacturers are not going to allow you to directly drop ship. And so what happens is it would have to ship to you first, and then you would have to double ship it. So it's kind of the same thing as if you had to ship it in the first place. The big thing with that is making sure that your website is set up to collect additional shipping on that so that you're not losing money on shipping. When you have that in place, yeah, there's extra work where you got to log this thing into your A&D book and then log it out, that type of stuff. But it's still mostly a passive sale in the sense that like you didn't have to do any marketing. You didn't have to like showcase it to anybody. Like people just went to your website, they bought it, it's shipped to you. You unpacked it, double checked everything, made sure it was good, throw in some stickers, maybe a hat or whatever, and then just ship it again. We do have some dealers that double ship on purpose, right? Some people do double ship on purpose, and the reason that they do that is so that they can throw some swag in there, and that so they are putting hands on it, and so that's really up to you. Like you can get down on that if that's something that you want to do, but it's not necessary. Right. So something that I want to talk about next, and a complexity that I might run into with what I'm using right here is the drawing tool that I want to use is behind the recording button that I'm using. So I don't know how that's going to work. Shit. Let me see if I can click this without. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. All right, let's see. I don't know if this is going to let me draw. I'm going to pause this. All right, so simple solution. I just moved my screen over. All right, now let me click. Come on, let me click. Okay, cool. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. So what we're going to talk about to start is going to be the value ladder here, right? So I'm going to draw this out real quick, and we'll kind of just start mapping this in. So when we talk about the value ladder, the idea behind this, guys, is this is where we start talking about a back-end system for a business. Now, most businesses basically stop at this step right here, and this is like the initial sale, right? This is where most businesses stop. And I'm going to give you an example of this, what this looks like. Somebody walks into your store, they say, hey, I'm looking for this thing. And you say, cool, here's this thing. Do you need anything else? And they say, nah, I'm good. And then they leave. That's where most businesses stop. And that's why most businesses don't make it. Now, what can we do to build that up? Well, what we can do is we can get people to sign up for our email list. We can get people to enroll in some type of membership or some other type of program where there's continuity between working together, right? But we'll get to the memberships and stuff here in a second. But what we can do from there is this next step would be an upsell. Right, so an upsell would be saying, cool, so you bought this Glock 19 MOS and it has iron sights on it. Let's talk about getting you an optic. Like, let's look at some Holosone, some Trigicon, some Delta Point, like whatever it is, right? So there's where you have your upsell, right? So that's moving people from step one of the ladder up into the next one. The idea is to continue doing this, guys. Continue to build people up into higher value, right? The idea is that this here should be more money, right? At least in concept, right? What I mean by that is like if you sell $1,000 rifle, ideally we want to sell them at least an optic that's $1,000. Like you don't want to put $100 optic on $1,000 rifle. People will, right? But the idea is that as they go up this ladder, that things potentially get more expensive, right? The value is higher. And so when you start getting to the top, that's where you have things like annual range memberships, training classes, like some really high speed stuff. You can really get into that as well. But like the idea is that the bottom down here is like an entry level offer, right? This is we can say that like the initial sale here was like maybe they came in for a cleaning kit, right? Maybe it was something cheap, an entry level offer. Then we upsold them into a mid-tier offer, right? So maybe that's like we sold them a firearm as well, right? And then after that, we sold them into a higher ticket offer, right? So maybe that firearm, they wanted you to do some custom work. They wanted it Cerakoted. They wanted to like put a new slide on the Glock. They wanted to run an optic on it, right? So the idea is to just continuously move people up this ladder and sell them things that are additional money, but also additional value to where they don't feel like you're taking advantage of them or whatever. But that you're just, you're offering more value and they're taking you up on that offer, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now, I've never used this program before. The thing that I normally use for my whiteboard is not working right now. So this is going to be kind of a pain in the butt because I guess I have to erase things like this, which is goofy. So I feel like a teacher at a chalkboard. But I'm going to make this much bigger real quick. That way this will go faster. Apparently 50 is the biggest, but that looks like it's doing okay. Cool. So we're going to move on from the value ladder a little bit, and we're going to start talking about some of the strategies for drop shipping success, right? So one of the big things is picking the right distributors. Now, we offer 16 distributors in our system, so there's a lot of different options out there. Now, many of you guys are home-based, and so when you run into that, you don't have as many options, right? Things like places like Sports South, you need brick and mortar. RSR, typically you need a brick and mortar for the actual FFL items and things like that. But you can be accessories only, that type of stuff. So the big thing is, one, choosing the right distributors to work with. More isn't necessarily always better, but just making sure that you have the right products and the right connections with your business, right? Now, after you have that, the next thing is really going to be finding a niche. And we've spoken about this a lot. I've spoken about this a lot in other trainings and stuff that I did. And I don't know why this is such a pain. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit more and make it easier for me to click, or what's going on here. It is really hard. There we go. So finding a niche is going to be really important, right? And hopefully I can write this legibly to where you can see what I mean by that. But here's the thing, right? If you have all of these different distributors that are connected to your website, and each one of them has a shit ton of products, right? All of these products right here. What we want to do is we want to say, we only want to carry this stuff right here. Like, this is our business niche, right? We only do tactical gear and suppressors and subsonics and SBRs and that type of stuff, or whatever it is. You can sell everything to everyone, but it makes your marketing really hard, because when you have 100,000 products on your website, what do you send out in your email? How do you pick it? You just pick something randomly? Like, that sucks. It's really hard. So as you niche down your business, you'll be able to carry less stuff, which makes it easier for your customers to find what they're looking for. And then when they come to your website, they know what to expect, because they know that when they go to your website, you are the bolt action PRS king, right? You are the subgun 9mm PCC king, whatever it is, right? So the idea is that we can use that to kind of niche this down into the narrow path. And that way we don't have a website with 100,000 products. We have a website with 10,000 products or 5,000 products or 20,000 or whatever. But there's just a lot less stuff in here that gets fed to the bottom of this funnel where you actually sell stuff, right? So the biggest thing with a niche, though, is that it makes it really easy to market, right? Example, you guys know me, I work with FFL dealers. That's pretty much all we do, unless it's like friends and family that are like have another business, like an attorney or a doctor or something, or a service business. Other than that, I only work with FFLs. So for me, when I do my marketing, it's very easy, because I just talk to FFLs about FFL stuff, and I ask FFLs if they need help doing that stuff. It's very simple. Now, again, this goes back to with you guys. If you have a huge lever gun community or something like that, you can sell Glocks and stuff too, but most of your marketing should be around your lever guns. Like, if that's your big niche, you don't have to not sell everything else, but make that your primary focus. Where when people go to your website, they know what to expect, right? All right, let me get my little eraser out here, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next section. All right, so balancing inventory is going to be a huge one here. And so this is where we're going to get into some really cool topics that I really like. Let's draw this out, and hopefully this will allow me to, gosh, it won't allow me to copy paste. I really like my other program, but it stopped working. for whatever reason. Cool, and these aren't see-through either. All right, guys. So when we talk about balancing inventory, of course, it won't let me write in here either. So let me add text. So we're going to talk about low margin, high volume. Now, some of you guys have seen me do some content on this before, which is awesome because this might be familiar. Maybe it clicks better the second time. Can't copy and paste that either. Okay, that's a pain in the butt. There's like no copy paste in here. High volume. Oops. High margin. Low volume. Let's make that a big M. Okay, let me do some tweaking here. I'll move this over. All right, so let's talk about this. We want to vary our inventory. We want to be able to offer lots of inexpensive things, right? Low margin, high volume. The same things that everybody else has, the Blazer 9mm, the cleaning kits, the Holosun optics, the whatever it is, right? The margins are pretty low on some of that stuff because everybody has it, and it's not hard to get. It's not allocated. It's not a used gun. It's not an LEO trade-in. It's not anything like that. Now, on the other side of that, we can blend that in, though, with the high margin, low volume stuff. We're talking about like Cabot guns. We're talking about like Staccato. We're talking about used stuff that you bought, right? If it's something hard to get, allocations, things like that are going to be really helpful to have on here. And when we talk about allocations, right, you can have allocations listed, and there's some strategies that I'm not going to get too deep on here. But the other thing with allocations is if you have a brick and mortar store and you have allocated items sitting on your shelf, put them on your website, right? This isn't all about drop shipping, but this is how kind of drop shipping and your website itself, like your brick and mortar store or your home base or whatever, can kind of connect and use all of this stuff together to make it all work. Right? So we have low margin, high volume, and high margin, low volume, and they work together. Like the idea here is to bring in as many customers as possible on the low margin stuff, right? If you have some Blazer 9mm that you're, or MagTech or whatever that you're running for real cheap, dope, run it real cheap. Run some ads with it, send it to AmmoSeek and places like that. Use that to bring in new customers on a regular basis, and then try to escalate them up the value ladder into some higher margin, low volume stuff, whether that's gunsmithing services, Cerakote, lasers, stippling, whatever that type of stuff is. Or it's like, hey, you bought a Glock from me a while ago, like check out this Desert Eagle, check out this Staccato, whatever it is, right? Escalate them up the ladder. So we want to balance our inventory by having both of these in there. We want to have those available. Now, when we talk about marketing for this stuff, some of the big things to do here, like some of the things that we do here to market our clients. Let me get my little text block out here and we'll swap this over. And so marketing for your drop shipping business. All right, so a couple different ways of doing this. The best way whatsoever is going to be influencer marketing. Very good, right? It's the best way to do it. Now, it can be really expensive. It can be really hard to get in front of people. And it can be a pain if you don't have anything special to offer. Right? If you're just offering the same stuff that everybody else has, influencer marketing can be very tough because when you hit up Garand Thumb or Hickok 45, they're not going to want to shoot just an M&P 9 Shield or a Glock 19, right? So this is where it's more of an advanced thing, and we don't really help out a lot with that in my business with the clients that we help. It's something that I plan on bringing more in where we can like coach and guide around that. But it's just hard because there's so many variables, right? You can reach out to these people and they won't respond and blah, blah, blah. And there's just a lot of manual work that goes into it as well. But let's talk about SEO. So SEO is going to be a huge one for this, especially if you have a niche and a good market to be in. SEO basically means that people can find you when they search online. Like if I search for AR-15 for sale online, there's going to be businesses that show up. I'm not going to go 37 pages back to click, listing number 241. Not going to do it, right? So the ones that are closer to the top are going to get most of the clicks. Most of the clicks are going to end up in most of the sales, right? So this is a big one. Now, another one is going to be paid ads. Now, dropshipping works really well for paid ads because, like, our system allows our dealers to automatically send their dropship inventory to places that we can run their inventory as like an ad. An example would be like AmmoSeek or Gun.Deals, Wiki Arms, that type of stuff. Gun Broker, Liberty Gun Trader, that type of stuff, right? And so when we talk about running paid ads, we're not talking about Facebook ads with the video. We're not talking about Google ads. Most of that shit doesn't work. There are ways of doing it, and it might be something that we bring into our business down the road, but right now it's just such a hassle, and I just really don't recommend trying to run Facebook or Google ads unless you have like a shooting range or something like that, or a product that's not directly a gun. That can make it a lot easier. But running paid ads is really well because it works really well because what it allows you to do is that you have these giant businesses out there that are just stuffed full of people looking for shit you sell, right? AmmoSeek, for example. And then you have your little website over here. And what you do is you can toss out these ads over here, your little product over there. And then the idea is that you're using that to bring in new customers on a regular basis. So this is just churning in and out new customers on a regular basis. And the idea is that once we capture the info from these new customers, then we can actually turn them into long-term customers and we can build up again that LTV. I talked about this a minute ago, guys, but if you do not know this term, it's huge. This is the lifetime value of your customer. This means not what did they buy yesterday for the first time. It's what is this person going to buy with me over the next 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long you plan on staying in business. Now, I read something a while back. The data is probably even crazier than this now, but it was something like the average person that goes to Starbucks, right? So if you've never gone to Starbucks or whatever, cool. But the average person that goes to Starbucks spends at least $25,000 there in their life. 25 grand. So if you think about it, if Starbucks knows that on average, every customer that they bring in will spend $25,000, they can spend $5,000 per customer to acquire that customer. So they can run huge national advertising campaigns. They can run, beat the street, these huge campaigns where they got people and things like that, and they can put these businesses all over the place. All this stuff comes down to, guys, is just math. It's just simple math, right? So what we're talking about here with the LTV, the lifetime value, is getting new customers through running ads, SEO, influencer marketing, or the next one that I'm going to cover here in a second, and then turning those into existing customers, EC. New customers, NC, existing customers, EC, right? These are what these stand for. Now, how do we get existing customers, right? Let me go back over here okay, direct marketing. So direct marketing works well to generate new customers, and it works well to generate existing customers, basically to get them to come back and buy from you again. Now, what is direct marketing? When we talk about direct marketing, what I'm talking about is emailing people. Build an email list and send emails. I don't care if people unsubscribe to your fucking email list. Send the emails. I'm telling that to myself too because I don't send emails often enough, right? Emails, text messages, getting them to follow you on social media. If your page gets taken down, fuck it, build a group. In the group, monitor who you bring into the group. That way you make sure there's no Karens in there that are reporting everything and getting your group shut down. If your posts aren't working, do reels. If your reels are working, do stories. Do whatever it takes, but stop doing the same fucking things over and over again that do not work. It just drives me crazy. I hear every day, oh, my page got taken down, so I'm going to make another one and do the same thing. Why? Stop doing the same thing. If the stories don't work, go back to photos. If the photos don't work, go back to reels. If the reels don't work, go back to, like, just do something different, right? But direct marketing, right? SMS, text messages, emails, social media. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. Even mailers, right? Even OG, like reach out to people like some of the demographic agencies in your area and send out mailers, like physical things in the mail. That actually cuts really deep right now because most people aren't doing physical mail anymore. So if you all of a sudden did a couple or physical mail campaigns, it would probably hit pretty strong in your area. Make sure that it's the right demographic, make sure you have the right messaging, and give people a lot of value as to why, one, they should care, but two, why they should actually visit your place of business, right? So one of the last things with that is social proof, right? Get reviews. Ask people for reviews. If they had a good experience with you, ask them for a review. We have a system that we use that allows people to automatically generate reviews, like our clients are able to automatically generate reviews, as well as a system that makes it really easy for them to ask their clients manually for reviews as well. Now, when we talk about the lifetime value, a lot of what we're talking about is the back end of the business. Some of you guys have heard me say front end, back end. Now, the front end is your store, right? That is basically somebody walks in, they buy something, and then they walk out. That's the front end of the business. The back end is you collect their information, and then you remarket to them, right? You send them a series of emails, you send them a series of text messages. Then that person comes back and either shops online or they come back to the store or whatever. Now, the idea behind this is it's like the Starbucks example. The back end of Starbucks is they get you hooked and then you come back, right? Some of the ways they do that are they have an app, right? The app works really well. They also do, so like you spend a certain amount, you get points, right? So loyalty rewards points, huge. We use that with our clients in our systems. There's a bunch of different stuff, right? I'm not going to get into a bunch too much of this, but there's a lot of different things out there, that you can look at some of these other businesses, for examples like Starbucks, where they have the rewards points, they have the app, they run promo days where you get double points or whatever it is, right? That type of stuff. The idea though is that they make all of their money here and not necessarily on you coming in and buying one thing for $20, like one box of 9 mil for $15 one time. Cool. All right, so let's talk about some long-term success tips here. Customer service is going to be huge, right? You got to have good customer service. Like, there's no doubt about that. There's, most of you guys know that. Many of you, that's why you started your business, because you actually got bad customer service at like your local gun shop. And so you said, screw it, I'm going to start my own. And good for you, right? That's awesome. I love that. But customer service is huge. So when you're drop shipping, a lot of your customer service is going to be email related. I suggest texting people. I suggest calling people. If somebody buys something big, call them and just be like, yo, I just wanted to thank you for buying that. I appreciate you. Is there anything else that we can help you out with? Is there anything that we can do to make this experience better? I threw in a hat and a t-shirt or a few stickers in the box. Like, dude, let me know how I can help, right? That stuff can make a huge difference in a world where it's very hard to get in contact with Amazon and Google and Facebook and things like that. If you make it relatively easy for people to access you, maybe you have a chat widget in the bottom corner of your website where they can text you back and forth like we do with our clients, whatever it is, right? Maybe you even have an automated text message that follows up with people immediately after they buy from you or whatever. Bunch of cool stuff that can do there. Now, staying compliant, right? Let's talk about staying compliant real quick. Our system does really, really, really well at managing MAP and making sure that you don't run into MAP violations. So whatever you do as far as drop shipping, make sure that you have a good system in place so you're not continuously getting hit with MAP violations, because what can happen is that your ability to sell said products can get pulled and then you're screwed, you have to remove all of those products on your website, and then it just becomes a huge hassle and you're blacklisted by that company. I got an email today, or a message on Facebook today, on somebody who booked a call with me that literally was talking about one of our, I don't want to say competitors because we're in a different market, but one of the other guys out there that you guys completely know of, and it starts with an A, huge map violations all the freaking time, right? And so this guy was like, I'm done with it. I'm ready. Like, let's talk, right? So make sure that you have something that's going to help you stay compliant with that stuff. And then one of the big things here is going to be continuous improvement, right? It might not hit right away. It might take you a while. It might take longer than you expect. You might have to do some additional marketing. You might have to do different stuff. It might take you a while to invest in SEO to really get things popping. But the thing here is just focus on continual improvement. This is a long-term game. You're not going to get into drop shipping and have a passive income business and make a shit ton of money overnight. Like, it's just not going to happen. Don't expect that. When you expect that, you're going to be disappointed, because if you can't expect that without drop shipping, why would you expect it with drop shipping? Nothing. This is not a magic bullet. It's just a system that allows you to make more sales without having to actually physically, like, engage in the sale. So, like, while you're sleeping, you can sell. You know, while you're on vacation, you can sell. You can have somebody that you hire for $5 an hour, you know, in the Philippines or something like that, that manages your orders for you just to make sure that everything's good. Like, or your daughter or your son, or, you know, the college kid down the street. Like, it allows you to basically operate like you have many more employees than you do, and much more inventory than you do, but you don't have to. So you're basically able to cut out a lot of the overhead, but still have the ability to have and do all of that stuff. So circling back around to the point I wanted to make on that is just focus on continuously improving, right? This is going to be something you're always going to be working on. Change the prices, put stuff on sale, add new products, delete old products, update your website, you know, things like that. Now, the last thing here is just kind of a quick recap, right? Just kind of a quick recap. So the key here, the key takeaway is, you know, kind of what I was just covering, right? That you can do more with less, cut your overhead, make more sales online, use that cash flow to reinvest into the business, to add additional services and things like that on your value ladder, right? So what I like to see is, I like to see people using their website to do drop shipping, right? To generate more cash, so that then they can invest in bigger machinery for their you know, some of the services that they offer. Maybe they can get into a buy group. Maybe they can get into direct with some manufacturers and things like that, and list that on their website. And then you can use this stuff to build that value ladder from, right? And then you can start selling more of the higher tier stuff. This is where the big margins are. You're not going to make money, regardless of whether you have your brick and mortar store in physical inventory. Like, you're not going to make money selling Hoppy's barrel patches. Like, there's just not that much money in it. Yeah, the margins might be great, but it's a margin on $3. So it's like, yeah, it cost you $1.50 and you sold it for $3. That's 100% markup, but it's $1.50, right? So ideally, you want to use the drop shipping to get you to that next level, where you can build out this LTV and build out this value ladder, where you can actually start making the big money by doing some of the custom work, or whatever it is that you want to build into your value ladder. So I hope this makes sense, guys. I hope this kind of clears up how the drop shipping alone isn't going to be the magic bullet that saves your business, but it can be something that can really help you build out a full-fledged system that allows you to bring in new customers on a regular basis, get them in your funnel, market to them on a regular basis, get them to buy from you over and over and over and over and over. And I'm going to do that a bunch of times so you get the point. Over and over again, right? The more that they buy from you, the greater that LTV goes up, and the more that you actually make and take home from every single customer on a regular basis. That's all I got. I hope this was valuable for you guys. I got a lot more video content coming up. I'm just, you know, doing my best to make it whenever I have a chance. Appreciate y'all. Last thing I have is, I've talked about what we do a lot, you know, kind of in between here. If you guys need help setting up a system like this, let me know. Shoot me a DM, however you get into contact with me. You can visit our website, right? fflfunnels.com. Come to our website. You can text me here, right? Or you can sign up right here. This will take you to a call booking form. You'll be able to book a call with me and we can chat about this stuff and figure out, what it looks like to get you some help. Cool. I got to roll. I got to go train my team. I will catch you guys later. Peace.